back to Voices in Care, a Blessing Health System podcast. I'm Beau Becraft, joined this week with a special talent. Haley Haugh is one of our registered nurses in one-day surgery. Haley has a unique talent. Not only are you a medical professional, but you are also a crocheting professional. We have some of her items on display here that she creates by hand. These are handcrafted items that you give to special patients. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience as an RN. What got you into the medical field or interested in the medical field, and how long have you been doing that?
So I've been a registered nurse at Blessing for 4 years. I've been in one-day surgery for all 4 of those years. That's where I started. I'm actually from Quincy. My parents are from here, grandparents, so it's very local. I went through Culver Stockton's program with Blessing Riemann, did a shadowing and capstone experience in the surgical department, so that's kind of how I segued into picking that area, and I love it. I work in one-day surgery and actually the recovery room, and then I've floated to the surgery center, so I just kind of work wherever they need me the most. But I do enjoy like the surgical services area a lot.
So you see no shortage of a variety of patients and conditions that come through those doors. Tell me how something like crocheting these animals and presenting them to patients before they go, under some of these surgeries are minor, some of these could be major surgeries. Mm-hmm. What does this do for those patients, and what was your goal in kind of establishing this project?
Okay. So I started crocheting in August. My dad's mother, my grandmother on that side, has been crocheting since she was little. It was something that we were always around growing up. She gave bears and blankets for like baby showers and for friends and family. So it was always a hobby that I wanted to have or wanted to be able to do, but never had the time. So I just wanted something to get off my phone, try to do something where I'm not being a couch potato all day. At least I'm like productive and making something.
Right.
So I started with the Woobles kit, which is just like an online crochet kit that gives you everything you need: crochet hook, stuffing, yarn. You don't have to get anything yourself. So if you don't like it, you don't have to waste any more money, I guess. So I did that, loved it. I did like 4 in a weekend very quickly. The first one actually was the jellyfish in a very smaller form that I gave to my sister because it was purple, and that's her favorite color. So I really liked the softer, bigger yarn, and then I gave one to a friend. She just has a kid who turned 1, and then I made a duck that I found on Pinterest. I was like, I'll just see if I can follow this pattern, and it was free, and I bought the yarn at Walmart, and then it just kept growing and then getting bigger and bigger. So one day, Hillary, my charge nurse, we were like talking. We treat patients 0 to 90, like 1 to 99, all different procedures, like you were saying, minor, major, can be very small, but to the person it can be very big, no matter what's going on. So we have our caps that our volunteers make. We needed something different. So she thought about these animals because I was showing her what I was doing. She'd been interested in crochet. So she texted me one day and was like, hey, there's 2 pediatric patients tomorrow, like 3 and 5. Do you have any extra ones, or do you have any like that you haven't given to somebody? I was like, yeah, I'll bring them in. Brought them in, went on with my day, and then it was like went very well. It like the nurses in the recovery room were texting me, asking me like if I made it, or when did we do this, or when did we start this. It just happened like a random Thursday, and then I just wanted to keep doing it and keep making more. And then we made a little form to go with it so that it could be a little more understandable. It's not something that they leave at the hospital. It's actually something that they get to take home. So we wanted to make sure that they understood it was something that they could take with them the whole time throughout the whole process.
So you're kind of creating what could be a scary experience for especially younger patients, and turning it into something that's got maybe more of a positive connotation.
Yes. All our patients, any age, nobody really wants to be at the hospital. Obviously, for some reasons, it has to happen sometimes, but it can be very nerve-wracking. Not everyone has a background in healthcare and understands everything that we do and why we do it. So it's something that we bring in the room with their gown, their socks, their hat, all that. We kind of put it together, and then it's the first thing that they see when they get in. So it's kind of just a little distraction, especially for younger patients that are like not in school yet. It's a lot harder for them to like verbalize. It's a lot more going off their like emotional reactions and attitudes with behaviors. So it's something that can kind of help distract them and give them something to focus on, because usually for the day we do talk to the parents a lot for questions and like what they had for breakfast or when they took something last. And it's a lot of interactions with the parents, and the kid is just there not really understanding.
Fly on the wall type
Yeah, they don't
situation.
really know what's going on. And even when they are in that school age, they're still learning and trying to understand what they're doing there and why they're at the hospital.
It's a really interesting aspect that I don't think, probably a lot of people prior to things like this really thought about. The kid is really just sitting there and,
they're just
having
like,
to wonder
okay.
what's next? How's this going to work?
Yeah, so like Lila, one of my charge nurse, Hillary, her daughter, when she had her procedure, she did great. She was a fantastic patient, but it was still nerve-wracking. When she was waiting, she was just like, are we going to do this yet? Are we going to go yet?
Yeah.
Are we just, like, she was very like bubbly and lots of energy, especially because she's sick. So she's still in that very like hyper, and it's hard to sit still for a long period of time, especially if you're just waiting.
Yeah. So you've been at this for 4 years now, you said. How long have you been doing this particular project?
So since October, September, October.
Now, previously, you've probably seen these patients prior to doing this. What has been kind of, maybe reaffirming or reassuring to you that this is, really beneficial for the patients? What have you seen prior to this and now, in kids or patients in general that this does for them? How does this benefit them, and how has it been, affected you seeing that?
Yeah. So before this project, everyone still had excellent care.
Sure.
Still went very smoothly, but a lot of people would bring their own stuffed animal or blanket, and we do encourage that too for kids that are coming in if they want something that's comfortable for them. But sometimes it's a 6 a.m. arrival, and it can be very hectic in the morning, especially since we get patients from all over, not just Quincy. So they could have like a 45-minute hour drive, and then you leave your teddy bear at home, and they're just crying and not feeling good. So what I've seen that's been the most promising is their reactions the day of receiving it, and how they interact with it, and how they just hold on to it even after they wake up in the recovery area. So it's still there. It's like a constant, because all the nurses switch. You'll get a nurse at the morning, you'll get a nurse in the OR, you'll get a nurse in the recovery room, and then a nurse before you leave, sometimes for outpatient. So it's a lot of different faces, lots of different names, and this can be a constant companion or friend with them the entire time that they recognize that they got before the medicine kicked in, and it's still there after.
Yeah.
So it's
like that it just creates this added element of care that, maybe larger places or things like that maybe not, wouldn't consider such a thing. So it's really awesome. How long does it take for you to create just one of these?
So when I started, it took a little longer, just getting practice, of course, but I usually about like 2 to 3 hours for each one. These are like my smaller sizes.
These are smaller? So what's the biggest? Like, is it my size?
No, I haven't done that, but I have seen
All
videos online of people making like life-size crocheted animals.
It's a lot of material costs.
Yeah. So I think the biggest one was my favorite that I think I'm going to keep probably for my future children is this kangaroo and Joey set. And it's like 24, 26 inches, the mom is, and then the Joey is, of course, smaller. But it was just something that I found through this book, and then this group of 2 ladies that made a book together, and they release patterns online, and it's just, I don't know, something that I'm obsessed with.
Does the kangaroo have a functional pouch? That's what everybody wants to know. Okay,
Yes,
and the
so
Joey
it
can
does.
fit inside.
Yes.
Okay, all right, there you go. That's
I know that's
biggest
what it makes
answer we had to get out of this
makes
podcast.
it even better, because I feel like whenever you get a kangaroo at a store, the Joey's like cut in half. Like you don't get to see the rest of the Joey.
It's a little terrifying.
Yeah,
but,
I
it
know
is.
it's weird, but I don't know those, and then like a teddy bear that one of my friends got for her nephew, and then they're just like all different sizes. I can make them smaller too. It's very versatile. I took yarn on the plane to Tulsa to see my aunt, and I was just crocheting in the like airport lobby, and it was a very good conversation starter. Like I talked to this mom and her daughter about it, and so just something to get off of your phone and not be so
connected all
doom
the time.
scrolling. Yeah, exactly.
So
I hate to do that.
Yeah, you mentioned that. It's got to be in your line of work in the medical profession in general, very high stress in a lot of cases. So how much of a stress relief is this project for you? Not only, just the creation of the items and things like that, but just making a difference in a patient's experience through something that you are creating with your own hands.
I was really shocked by how moved everyone was, because to me it was just something to do for somebody else. And with the positive outlook of patients and also the parents talking to them, like with the kids when they see that they get something to take home. It's been very positive. I'm very happy with it. Very bad at describing in words with how it makes me feel, but it's just okay. Very good. Like to me, it started off very nonchalant, like very like, oh yeah, duh. Why wouldn't I do this? And then now it's like something I am motivated to do and want to do. And it's a very good stress reliever, especially when I'm watching the Packers. It can be very stressful sometimes.
Okay, so it keeps you from throwing the remote at the TV.
Yes, yeah, I can throw this and it won't hurt anything.
Yeah, so, valid point. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I love football, but I can't sit there like all day. I have to like be moving and be doing something.
Multitasking.
The good thing online is the community of people out there that are crocheting and like releasing patterns or sharing with others what they do and what they make, and it's been a very like fun hobby. I never thought I would get this much into it. I thought it would just be something I try, and then if I don't like it, I don't like it, but I am hooked.
You mentioned that, well, pun intended, maybe not intended, I don't know, but it works here.
Yes.
You mentioned the online communities where they're sharing these patterns and things like that, but is there another element to it where you have shared what you're doing with some of these things, and what's the response been from that community?
So I've been sharing with a lot of like friends and family, and then I do have like an Instagram page for some of my crocheted animals. These specifically, I try to keep for the pediatric patients. Like I try to keep that, of course, separate. But then I do have a lot of friends that are having a lot of life events, a lot of friends that are getting married, having their first kid or having their second kid. And it's kind of a nice gift for them because it's handmade and
something from the heart.
Yeah, it's something unique and different and not something that you can necessarily pick up at a store. So mostly just through that, and then hopefully like attending some markets. But I have shared the pediatric patient involvement and that we're doing that for others. And I'm trying to get others to start this hobby, or if they needed something different to do at home or just something to relieve their stress, I recommend this and been trying to encourage.
Are there other nurses or those in the medical community that you're connected with through these endeavors that have kind of gained inspiration from this and maybe started their own version of that where they go?
Yes, I am. So there's a nurse actually in the OR that crochets, and she does a bunch of animals too. And then I was like FaceTiming a friend. She is an occupational therapist right now. She was in Texas, but she moves around a lot. But we were just like FaceTiming. And then my screen finally loaded to see her, and we were both crocheting. So it's just like a very random niche thing. I was like, oh, I didn't know you did this. And she's like, oh, yeah, I didn't know you did that. And I was like,
I feel like maybe it's kind of a lost art for younger
so.
generations.
Yeah, just because, there's so many different hobbies that somebody can have. Like I love painting. I love drawing. I do a lot of like cartoon expo marker drawings within the department too, along with another nurse in the OR who does it in their lounge. And it's just something fun and something different. And I do think it is lost. And especially talking to my grandma about it, she was very touched and was so happy to see someone, because it's not as common and because everybody's on like their phone or technology, and you don't realize how much time passes when you're stuck in something. And
it sounds like you kind of picked this up fairly quickly. You mentioned you started in August and October this thing was already rolling. So do you feel like you had a leg up because your grandmother had
So she
kind
did
of
try to teach.
Okay.
So she did try to teach my sister and I probably like 10 plus years ago. But
when you were too cool to care.
Yeah, and it was just like It's hard. I think
Sure.
everybody's different at learning too. I'm a very visual learner, and so with Woobles, it was perfect because they gave you a video with each clip, and then my grandma is just an expert. Like she has been doing it since she was
doing her sleep.
Yes,
Yeah.
like she was like 5 or 6. So I think sometimes too, it's hard to bring it to a beginner level. And this Woobles kit comes with like a started piece. So you, like that's the hardest part sometimes is like starting the magic circle,
Sure.
which is what they call it. And it can be hard sometimes to get to a beginner level from somebody else who has so much knowledge
Yeah.
about it. Like she can do this baby bear blanket and yeah, like you said, in her sleep. She has done it forever. She doesn't even know how many she's made. We were just like talking about that just because over the years, like they did a lot of road trips, always something that she would be doing in the car. She would always be crocheting a blanket and it does help. I think it's like a nice, it's a nice hobby to encourage. Like I'm trying to encourage to other people since it is kind of a lost art and not
Yeah.
really used as much.
So at the end of the day, what do you hope that, other medical professionals or other volunteers or talented folks, what do you hope they, or especially your patients too, what do you hope they take away from receiving one of these and just this gesture of kindness or comfort?
I think it shows that they're still good everywhere, but it's also to do something for someone else can be so small, but to that person it can mean so much. So it started out very small, very like nonchalant, and it's just been such a huge movement. And I hope that it continues on and that we continue to do this or something similar like it to help just because of how the reaction has been. I mean, it's been so nice seeing everybody be so happy about it and like comfortable and
So there you go. Well, Haley Haugh, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your time and your talents, especially with us, but not only us, but also the medical community and the patients that we serve every day. It's just another added layer of care that the great people at Blessing Health System are able to offer our patients day in and day out. So Haley, thank you very much.
yeah, thank you.
This has been Voices in Care. I'm your host, Beau Becraft. Join us next time.